Hey guys, it was kind of brought to my attention that some of you may not have ever used Excel before, or you've never created a graph in Excel, and this lab report requires you to make graphs of your data. So I just wanted to show you a quick tutorial about how you can do that. If you don't have Excel, you can use Google Sheets. There's also a program that you can look for. It's called Libre Office Suite. And LibreOffice Suite looks exactly like Excel, but it's free. And you can even, this has like a Word, a PowerPoint, so you can look for that as well. But you can look at Google Sheets too. It just depends on your preference. I have Excel, so I'm just going to kind of show you how to do this in Excel. So you in your first lab should have, your data table that had the height versus the wingspan, and then the proportion, and then the forearm versus the forearm and forearm. I can't talk today. Forearm and hand, and then the proportion. So you just want to type in your numbers. These are just random numbers that I typed in. So you'll take your data from your data table and you'll enter it into these columns. It's very important, because you're going to be graphing, that you not put in any kind of lettering or whatever. It should be just the numbers. It doesn't recognize how to graph, it only graphs numbers. It can't graph the units. So after you put your numbers in, you want to go to this proportion. And so we're trying to create a ratio. Now, typically when you create a ratio, you divide by something called the greatest common denominator. You can look that up yourself, like looking at proportions and stuff. I'm going to show you how to actually use a formula in Excel that will calculate the proportion for you. So what you want to do is type the equal sign. Then you'll do an open parenthesis, and you want to find the ratio of these two numbers. So you want to click on the height, and then you'll put a backslash, because this represents division, and you want to divide it by the wingspan. So you're going to click on the next cell, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to close that. Then this is something called %, but essentially without any spaces, you're going to type the and symbol, then your apostrophe, or your quotations, and then you're going to do that little colon, and then another quotations, and then another and symbol. Luckily, you only have to do this once, so because we're going to copy the formula down, so you don't have to type that in every single time. So then after that second and symbol, you'll do an open parentheses, you'll click on wingspan, you'll hit that backslash, and then you'll click on wingspan again, because we essentially want it to divide by itself, and then close the parentheses and hit enter. And so now you have your proportion. Now it's going to come out ugly if it's not like a direct 1-to-1% or proportion. And so you'll have like this really long set of decimals, but essentially just round up. So, 0.9 is rounding up, would be a 1-to-1 ratio. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you're going to take your little corner of the box, and you're just going to pull it down all the way down, and it'll calculate the ratio for you. So you don't have to go through and do a whole bunch of math yourself. And as you can see, like from these random numbers that I put, I essentially have overall a 1-to-1 ratio. Were there outliers? Sure. But they're all basically equaling 1-to-1. So I am not an Excel guru. I'm sure there's probably some way to change this. I mean, I tried to lessen the decimal place, but it won't let me do that. So if anybody knows how to do that, more power to you. Let me know, and I can fix that. So then you're going to come over here and essentially just do the same exact thing. So you're going to hit the equal sign, open parentheses. We want to divide the forearm by the forearm and hand. So we're going to do that. Okay, just like before, right? Then you do your and symbol, your quotations, your colon, quotations again, and symbol, open parentheses, divide by itself. Okay. And then we go back to this box and copy it. Okay. So please do not use my numbers as your numbers. Like I said, these were random numbers that I typed in. So this in no way is representative of what this, the actual proportions of this lab should come out to be. So now that we have our proportions and we have all of our numbers, let's look at how we want to graph this information. So the first thing that you will most likely want to graph is your height versus your wingspan. So you're just going to highlight the information. You're going to go to insert. Sometimes on the menu in Google Sheets, it'll just have a picture of a graph and you can just click on that graph. And so we're going to we're just going to see what it recommends. And the first thing it recommends is doing a scatter plot. This is fine if you want to use this. Some people like a bar graph because it shows, kind of how it's that, that ratio that you can clearly see, especially here and here, that it's a, 1-to-1 ratio. They're equal to each other. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this. And so what will happen is it'll create the graph for you. It has a key telling you, okay, everything in blue is height, everything in orange is wingspan. And then you want to go in here and edit your titles. So we want to edit our axes, titles. Sorry, you don't have to do that. You can actually just click in there. So we want to say that this is height versus wingspan. And then we want to edit our axis title. So you can put in whatever, units you want to put in here and here. It's up to you. Some of them may not need that. I'm not a real huge, I want to see that you did the overall data correctly. I mean, that's really what I'm looking for. I'm not too concerned about, you getting all your titles exactly 100% in there and stuff. I mean, I would like for it to have the main title of what I'm looking at. And so then essentially, you created the graph for, I accidentally moved that. So sorry. Okay. So once you have it completed, then you can just right click on it, copy it, and then you can paste it into your lab report. And then you'll just want to do the same exact thing for forearm versus forearm and hand, right? Highlight it, go to insert, recommended chart, same thing. Like I said, you can use the scatter plot if you want to. I don't really feel like it's showing the proportions like it should. It's just kind of showing you that there's an overall trend of going up, but that could be because I put in bigger numbers and things like that. So I really think that this one is going to show you your best one. Some people like to use this one. That's fine too. But I do think that this one shows the best, or is at least showing you the ratio like you want it to show. I'm going to go ahead and just cancel it. The proportions, there's not really a reason why you want to compare these proportions. I mean, you've already calculated that the ratio, which is what we wanted to see, and you can discuss, okay, why would height and wingspan have a 1-to-1 ratio versus, forearm and hand having a different ratio. I don't really see the need to graph both of these proportions. So hopefully that helps to answer your questions. If you have any other concerns or questions, feel free to email me and I can help you out. All right. Bye.